Now at 5, the city of Joplin receives a $4 million grant to make improvements to Zora Street. Plus, how the city plans to deal with an increase in traffic around the newly finished Dover Hill Elementary.
Migrants are the main focus for President Biden at his summit with fellow North American leaders. I'm Skyler Henry at the White House with the pressures the administration is facing over the crisis at the southern border.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Joplin's Zora Street will get some multi-million-dollar improvements. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. The city of Joplin and Jasper County received a $4 million state grant to improve Zora Street, one of the busiest roads in Joplin. Starting from Rangeline, the road toward Duquesne will see curb and gutter improvements as well as a storm sewer system. Duquesne to Highway 249 will be improved with paved shoulders. The intersection at Zora and Duquesne will get a large truck-friendly roundabout.
The large amount of truck traffic that accesses the interstate system through Highway 249, that is what drove us to make the improvements on this intersection.
City officials estimate the project will start this coming fall, or during the spring of 2024. Completion will take about a year. The completion of the new Dover Hill Elementary School comes with a whole new problem of its own. That's traffic. The city of Joplin has a plan to try to deal with it. Joplin's newest elementary school is near the intersection of North Main Street and Murphy Boulevard. Those two roads see about 16,000 and 5,000 daily cars, respectively. The school district expects an additional 200 cars for pickup and drop-off. However, they say the flow of traffic should not be affected much.
The city and the school district work together along with the Department of Transportation, and a traffic study was conducted for the school. It's a big enough traffic generator that we felt that was important.
The traffic study also showed engineers the most effective place for the entrance and exit for Dover Hill Elementary. Skeletal remains found in Colorado have been identified as those of a Joplin man. Authorities say Michael Kroll was reported missing in the Pagosa Springs area in October of 2021. The remains were discovered by hikers this last September, but DNA testing just confirmed that they are those of Kroll. Kroll was 41 when he disappeared. No word on the cause of death. Celebration of Life service for Kroll is set for January 28th at Unity of Joplin Church. Let's check in with meteorologist Sam Lane for a first look at the weather.
Thank you very much, Dow. It was a beautiful day across the area. Lots of sunshine, very little away in the cloud cover, and no precipitation on radar. And it's going to stay that way for a couple more days. Temperatures are going to be falling down through the mid-50s by 6 o'clock and then the upper 40s as we go through the evening hours. But notice the clouds are going to be increasing too, dropping down to around a lower 35 degrees. This afternoon, Joplin wasn't the only place that got into the 60s. Many locations made it into the lower 60s across our area for highs, and now temperatures are starting to drop down into the upper 50s across our area. Let's take a look down the lane and show you what's coming up. We're going to have a warm couple of days, but then there's a chance of rain and mixture of winter-like precipitation Wednesday night into Thursday, but then a mild weekend ahead, as well as some more rain early next week, and I'll have all the details in just a little bit.
All right, we'll see you then. President Biden is in Mexico for the North American Leaders Summit with the presidents of Mexico and Canada. The three leaders have a lot to talk about, including migrants from Central and South America arriving at the southern U.S. border. Reporter Skyler Henry has details.
President Biden is kicking off the North American Leaders Summit, meeting one-on-one with Mexico's president. The flow of migrants is at the top of their agenda.
This is something that is not unique to the United States. It's gripping the hemisphere, and a regional challenge requires a regional solution.
Mexican President Manuel López Obrador announced his country would accept up to 30,000 migrants per month from Cuba, Nicaragua, Haiti, and Venezuela, while they await amnesty verdicts in the U.S. It follows a Biden administration policy announcement that migrants from those 4 countries are eligible for a 2-year work visa if they have sponsors, pass background checks, and secure an airline flight to the U.S. President Biden made his first visit to the U.S.-Mexico border since he's been at the White House over the weekend. During a stop in El Paso Sunday, Border Patrol agents told him they need help.
They need a lot of resources, and we're going to get them for them.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott met the president in El Paso and delivered a letter in which he said, "This chaos is the direct result of your failure to enforce the immigration laws that Congress enacted."
It just so happens he's 2 years and about $20 billion too late.
President Biden sent Congress an immigration reform plan 2 years ago, where it hit Republican opposition. Mexico's president says President Biden agrees on working together to address the causes of migration so people wouldn't have to leave their home countries. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
The president's Mexico City trip is the first visit to Latin America by a U.S. president since 2014. Security officials in Brazil have retaken control of that country's Congress, Supreme Court, and presidential palace and arrested hundreds of rioters. This comes after thousands of supporters of Brazil's far-right ex-president Jair Bolsonaro stormed the facilities yesterday. It happened barely a week after newly elected leftist President Lula da Silva was sworn into office. Bolsonaro is currently in Orlando, Florida. Members of his team have met with advisors to former President Trump in recent months. A Virginia teacher is in stable condition and showing signs of improvement today after police say she was intentionally shot by a 6-year-old student on Friday. Police won't say how that boy got the gun or who owns the weapon. The child cannot be tried as an adult under Virginia law and is too young to be committed to the Department of Juvenile Justice if found guilty, but a judge could revoke the parent's custody. Coming up, new guidelines to deal with childhood obesity.
For the first time in 15 years, doctors are updating the guidelines on childhood obesity. I'm Dina Demetrius with the new aggressive recommendations.
And later, we're going to check out some of the new robots showcased at CES over the weekend. Topping today's Health Watch, the American Academy of Pediatrics is out with new guidelines for the first time in 15 years on childhood obesity. Doctors are now recommending that children be treated early and aggressively, including prescribing medication and surgery if necessary. Reporter Dina Demetrius shares the story of one teen who hopes to reach others who might feel isolated.
18-year-old Rose Garcia says she's been overweight as long as she can remember.
I went to a regular yearly physical at my primary care, and I communicated how I wanted to get some help to lose weight.
The teen also needed medication for high blood pressure. Doctors reviewed diet, exercise, and medication.
It was having some negative side effects, and I really wasn't too happy with it. And I communicated my interest in bariatric surgery.
New guidelines from the American Academy of Pediatrics highlight there's more evidence than ever that treating obesity in children is safe and effective. Watchful waiting or delaying treatment is no longer recommended.
Childhood obesity can lead to a raft of physical and psychological conditions. These include type 2 diabetes, hypertension, depression.
Dr. Iwama Inelli with Nationwide Children's Hospital co-authored the guidelines, which say effective treatment may include nutrition support, physical activity, behavioral therapy, medication, and metabolic and bariatric surgery.
It is not about a number with the weight or the body mass index group. It is about health. It's about helping that child feel happier.
Obesity affects around 14.5 million children in the U.S., and the numbers have been increasing.
It's been 6 months since Rose's surgery. She's lost over 90 pounds and no longer needs blood pressure medication.
I feel like it's one of the best decisions I've ever made for myself, for my own health, but also mentally.
She wants other teens to know they are not alone and help is available. Dina Demetrius, CBS News.
The guidelines specify that doctors should offer kids 12 and older an obesity weight loss medication option along with behavior and lifestyle treatment, and that teens 13 and older with severe obesity be evaluated for surgery. For those who have walking in their regular exercise regimen, it might be the treadmill that can get you the best results. Exercise experts say using the several features of treadmills can help burn calories a bit faster. Consider turning up the speed of the treadmill to change your pace. If that's too much, we'll try going steeper. Use the incline feature on your next workout. Fitness experts say if you can, you might want to do both. For people who exercise regularly, a handful of almonds could be the ideal snack. A study in North Carolina found adults who ate 2 ounces of almonds a day for a month reported feeling less fatigue and tension after intense exercise. They also reported better leg and back strength and less muscle damage. Here's another reason to add gardening to your hobbies. Researchers in Colorado found people who participate in community gardening eat more fiber and get more physical activity, 2 ways of reducing the risk of cancer and chronic diabetes. Gardeners also report less stress and anxiety. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, why Fisher-Price is putting out another recall on one of its infant sleepers.
And how much longer can the warm air last? I'll give you a hint. Not much longer. We'll have the details when we return. What a beautiful way to start off the work week with light winds, lights of sunshine, clear skies. We've had a great stretch of days over the last couple of days, and that's going to continue for just a little bit longer, but then some changes are in our forecast. Right now, though, let's enjoy the nice sunset at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort down in Seneca, Missouri. You can see the sun gleaming off of the buildings there, and it's also starting to set here, of course, in Joplin. Beautiful sunset if you get a chance to get out and enjoy. Temperatures over the last 36 hours, we were in the 40s yesterday, then we dropped into the 30s, but this afternoon we really jumped up there in the 60s, and it looks like that's going to continue for at least, like I said, a couple more days. We topped out at 64. We started out at freezing this morning, which both are above the normals. In fact, we were only 3 degrees away from the record set back in 1963. We don't like those records, though. -3 back in 1977. Satellite view shows mostly fair skies across the entire 4-state area. Just a few high thin cirrus earlier this afternoon. Those are now pulling off towards the east. But there are more clouds developing off towards the west, and that's part of a big storm system. In fact, look at this thing. This is just a humongous storm off the coast of California. There's several little spinning low pressure centers associated with this. All this is moving towards California, producing lots of rain, flooding, landslides, avalanches, all kinds of problems for those folks. And as that system moves into the Rocky Mountains, it gets torn apart. Then it comes over our area as a weaker system. Temperatures this afternoon, well, right now they're in the 50s and 60s still at this hour. 63 in Independence, 60 down in Welch as well as Veneta. A little bit cooler up to the north where it's in the 50s, but generally everyone is around 15 degrees warmer now than we were 24 hours ago. So that is a nice change. Dew points are starting to increase as well on those southerly winds. Right now we're seeing dew points in the mid-30s across the region, and that's going to increase as we head over the next couple of days ahead of the next storm system. Right now in Joplin, beautiful sunset, 59 degrees, southwest wind at 10, so it feels like 59, and the dew point is 33, and the pressure is currently falling. Precip chances over the next 36 hours, pretty much close to 0 across the entire area. But then beyond that, that's when things are going to start changing. Temperatures tonight, though, not much of a change than we were last night, except south winds. We're still going to get down into the mid-30s, some lower 30s, especially up towards the north with those southerly winds. Then tomorrow afternoon, again, mostly fair skies with temperatures in the low to mid-60s, upper 50s up to the north, mid-60s down to the south. Then, as we go into Wednesday morning, notice there's going to be a front that's going to be moving in from the north and west. This front is going to start running out of gas, though, as it gets close to us, and then we'll retreat back to the north by Wednesday afternoon as a warm front, so we should still make it up into the lower 60s on Wednesday afternoon. But then as we go through Wednesday night and Thursday morning, it comes back as a cold front and introduces a chance of precipitation, and yes, even a mixture, especially for our friends up towards the north. All right, how much rainfall? Not a lot. Not expected a lot from this storm system. As we go through Thursday morning, maybe around 1/10, especially down towards the south and east. Over the next 7 days, get ready for the roller coaster ride, Dow. 64 tomorrow, 62 Wednesday. Then we drop down into the 40s on Thursday and Friday. But don't worry, the 60s come right back as we head into the early part of next week.
This roller coaster has been riding pretty high for a while, so a bit of a drop would be normal.
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming.
Thanks, Sam. Coming up, a look at the new robot showcased at CES. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Fidel Leon served in the U.S. Army from 1943 to 1945. The Mountain Valley, Kansas native was stationed in the Philippines, received a Purple Heart. And we salute Private First Class Fidel Leon, a 4-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Mattel's Fisher-Price brand is announcing another recall of its Rock and Play sleepers. It includes about 4.7 million of the sleepers and comes after at least 8 more deaths that occurred after the original recall in 2019. The product was launched in 2009 and was first recalled a decade later after more than 30 infant fatalities were reported. A total of about 100 deaths have reportedly occurred while infants were in the sleepers. John Deere is giving farmers the long-sought right to repair agricultural equipment on their own. The agreement signed yesterday follows years of lawsuits and complaints. It means farmers can diagnose and fix their John Deere tractors without using company parts or facilities. The American Farm Bureau Federation says the agreement also protects John Deere's intellectual property. CES in Las Vegas wrapped up yesterday, but not before introducing some new robots. Reporter Elise Preston gives us a look.
Today's robots can help ship packages, serve food at restaurants, and vacuum the carpet. Now there's one that will mow the yard and clear snow. The Yarbo is an autonomous robot that uses artificial intelligence to navigate a yard and avoid obstacles.
You tell it what the boundaries are of your yard, but it mostly uses its own sensors to know where to go and what not to hit.
Brian Cooley from CNET says robots can also assist farmers. John Deere already has self-driving tractors. Now sensors on a robotic attachment can differentiate between weeds and crops to deploy weed killers sparingly. And a new system called Exact Shot makes sure fertilizer is only used on the plants that need it.
They're able, they say, to reduce fertilizer use by 60% in the best case on a large farm.
From the farm to the hospital.
It's very nice to meet you.
The AO robot is designed to assist medical workers. It can respond to voice commands, carry up to 8 pounds, and uses an infrared camera to move through facilities on its own.
It can go and check on residents. It can do deliveries overnight and just work all night in the dark.
AO can also take pictures.
Hey Siri, take a selfie.
The 1 in a million robot dog.
And meet Doggy from Wowie Toys. This robo-pup responds to petting and communicates through its tail. And each one is unique.
The personality could be sweet, it could be lazy, it could be protective, it could be active, etc. There's over 1 million different combinations of what you can get.
The Doggy sells for $80 and should be available in the summer. Elise Preston, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Need some money to buy a robot? Well, no winner means the Mega Millions jackpot grows to $1.1 billion. No one matched all 6 numbers in Friday's drawing. You might remember back in July, 2 people won the $1.34 billion prize. The Illinois Lottery says they came forward in September and split the prize. The next drawing is set for tomorrow. Final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, details on the investigation into newly sworn-in Congressman George Santos. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on that $4 million grant for improvements to Joplin's Zora Street. Plus details on a new union contract for Joplin firefighters and others, and authorities respond to an armed robbery at the Casey's in Airport Drive. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. So, new research is shedding light on why structures from ancient Rome have stood the test of time so well. Turns out an ingredient within Roman concrete could be the key. An international study team analyzed 2,000-year-old samples of concrete. White chunks in the concrete, called lime clasts, are suspected to give concrete an ability to heal cracks that form over time. Previously, these white chunks have been written off as evidence of sloppy mixing or poor quality material, but now they think, no, this was intentional. Once water mixes with this, it expands, fills the cracks, and there you go, sort of self-gluing technology.
I'm hoping that we incorporate some of that knowledge into today's road work.
Isn't it remarkable it took till now to figure this out?
It does. All right, let's take a look at the forecast. We know what that looks like. 64 tomorrow, 62 on Wednesday, but then the cold front moves through the area and we see temperatures dropping back down into the 40s and 30s, maybe in the wintry mix on Thursday morning, but then the warm air comes right back just in time for the weekend. And extending on that out, looks like another front arrives late Tuesday.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.